Hello, dear ones. This is the Awakening Path Show, the place where you come to expand your consciousness. And today I have back Lenore. She is a visionary healer, teacher, and creator of the Creative Attunement process. And of course, we are here today to talk about A Course in Miracles. Maybe you probably already tired of hearing me speaking about A Course in Miracles, but I'm so sorry. You're just gonna hear a little more because this book really is transforming the life of so many people. It had transformed and keeps transforming, and I just love it. And one thing that I do for my clients, I prescribe this book. People that come to do therapy with me, I prescribe those two books. A Course in Miracles and A Year of Forgiveness. So please help me welcome Lenore Culin. Lenore, welcome back to the Awakening Path Show.
Thank you so much, Eleonora. It's wonderful to see you again. And I'm always happy to focus on the Course in Miracles because it has been so helpful to me in my life and a major focus for a long time.
Are you able to raise your camera a little bit? We can see only part from your chin up. Okay.
There.
Oh,
I'm ascending.
Literally.
I was wondering what happened.
So we already spoke about how you was in contact with A Course in Miracles in our previous interview. Can you give us just a quick summary again for whoever didn't watch the other interview? How the A Course in Miracles came to your life?
Well, actually, this might be a little different way of looking at it, but there was a sequence of events where I initially came into contact with a book about Edgar Cayce that made me realize or gave me that spiritual perspective that we're souls and spiritual beings having a physical experience. And I attended some meetings, Search for God meetings with that. And then somebody in that group recommended another program, which was the Silva method. And I learned some more ways to meditate and visualize and use the my inner abilities and vision for positive healing and manifesting. And then it was recommended to attend one of the teachers there, Bruce Gregory, had continued meditation groups where he called it was like the Silva mind method plus God. So it was incorporating more of a spiritual perspective on things. And I had been attending that meditation group, driving into New York City from the suburbs. And then one night he had been asked by Judith Scotch to introduce the Course in Miracles and try it out on his meditation group. It's kind of a short version of a lot of things that happened. And I hadn't actually attended it in a while because I was working full time and I had to drive by myself at night to this class, to this group, quite a distance into the big city by myself, and get a babysitter. And so, but I did go to that meeting where he introduced A Course in Miracles with mimeographed sheets, which are
So that was
photocopies.
the very beginning. Do you remember the year?
That would have been like 1975, maybe even
Oh my
74.
goodness.
Yeah,
So
it was.
it wasn't published yet.
It
Like
wasn't published yet.
That's
So
amazing.
the first
What
week
one of the
of
pioneers.
yeah, I was very fortunate. And so we had the first week of the workbook. So 7 lessons. I looked at it and it looks so easy. I said, I can do that. And I want to do that. So I started and I just continued every week. We got another 7 lessons. And what was exciting was usually it was a small meditation group, maybe about a dozen people, if I'm remembering all this correctly, obviously a very long time ago. And but that night, every seat was taken. So there were about 40 people there. A large contingent had come from the UN. They had heard about it. And so there were people from all over the world, and we
The
all
United
started it
Nations.
at the same time.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's really already started making a story. And if you open this book, any page, and you read a paragraph, it's impossible not to get intrigued, at least intrigued by and want to understand a little more. So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
So I went on to actually teach A Course in Miracles in Colorado at the Colorado Institute of Transpersonal Psychology, where I wanted to move from the New York area to have a more healthful, proactively healthful lifestyle in Colorado. And so that's what I developed courses there also in holistic health, as well as teaching A Course in Miracles as in their department of comparative spirituality. And later, actually, that institution, it was just a small school, but we offered accredited degrees, advanced in graduate programs. So that school became part of Naropa Institute in Boulder. When it disbanded, I moved to Phoenix, and I was the director of admissions at the time. And anyway, several of the administrators went on to other things or other realms. So, but the school, apparently parts of it lived on through Naropa Institute in Boulder. And what happened with me is when I moved to Phoenix, I wanted to really develop my own way of connecting spiritually. I had studied so many different kinds of meditation, actually beginning with transcendental meditation back in 1971. So that was even several years before I heard about A Course in Miracles, and also through the Institute of Transpersonal Psychology, and mostly through my own interest in seeking to understand, because I was struggling with several health conditions, part of it from living in Africa that carried over, and becoming a single mother. I realized how important forgiveness was to health, and I just kept seeking ways to cultivate in myself the attitudes and the actions, the thoughts, the feelings that would promote health and also to help create a better world.
You said something that's very interesting and important that you can develop a little more.
Mm-hmm.
You find out how important forgiveness is for your health.
Right.
And forgiveness, when you think you have to forgive something, that's mean someone made something bad to you. So you are placed in the position of victim and someone in the position of the one that's attacking. What
Right.
basically you are doing is giving your power away because you are just placing yourself in the position of victim.
Right,
And,
exactly. So
and
I also came to understand that ultimately there's nothing to forgive because
yes,
our experience of reality is whatever meaning we give to it. In fact, that's one of the lessons that was really important to me. That oh, everything I think.
yes. Sorry, I was cutting off. This is
So
the map of consciousness.
right,
Finish.
right. I'm very familiar with that. And
So let's talk a little bit about forgiveness. I was saying that when you think when you need to forgive something, that's mean you are in the guilt and blind mode. You are
right,
right here on shame, on guilt. You are 30. When you forgive, automatically you come here to love. Look at the
right.
example that you make.
And
It's
we
not
learn
that easy to do all the time, but it's possible. And it's just one choice. Choose love instead of fear.
right. And also that one lesson that everything I think I see has only the meaning that I give to it. So as you're saying, if even the thought of needing to forgive implies that you're blaming somebody, which means you're calling yourself a victim. So ultimately, we transcend all of that. But the Course in Miracles is about unlearning all of these concepts and how our perception has distorted the reality of who we are and everyone else,
Yes.
and is is a result of our own perceptions, and ultimately it's up to us in our awareness to choose differently. To
Fortunately,
that's the ability of the soul, is to be able to choose,
yeah.
right?
And the Course in Miracles was the first time where I heard about oneness.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to not only to hear, but also to understand. And it was fascinating and hard to believe and understand when I heard the first time. Everything that's happened around you with you, is actually for you, and it's the direct result of you having what you have in your mind. It's just a physical manifestation of having your mind. It doesn't matter that apparently somebody else that's doing. So what's that mean is there is only you. You are always experience your own mind, and you are the writer, the director, the actor,
Right.
and all the other actors, and assign the role for each one of them of your daily of life. And when you understand that, is becomes really powerful, and you understand that at the same time, make you humble also, because you cannot get to this realization without love, and understand that you are love and everybody else is also love.
And if you think you're a victim, you can't change it. But if you know that it's the result of whatever we were asking for or believing in, then we can change our own mind, our own beliefs. And so if we develop this belief that the universe is acting for us, that everything is helping us to evolve, and it can be toward a better world. So that's why I developed a program for myself uh, to cultivate all those beliefs and the feelings and the thoughts that that I thought would outpicture a better world and a life for myself and for others. That was included too.
Would you like to expand a little bit more on this program that you created?
Okay, well, as I said, when I moved to Phoenix, I decided I wanted to develop my own way of meditating, because I had studied all these different systems and approaches. And at first, when I just tried to sit there without a mantra, without a specific thought, well, naturally my mind would just go all over the place. and so I wanted to clear my mind and to sort of handle all the things that came up, so that my mind would be clear and I could have a good, clear connection with my soul and God. And so I I actually developed this process that I came to call attunement, to clear myself before I went into my silent meditation. But then I found it was just very helpful on its own for myself and for others, for healing and resolving some of these conflicts and limitations, stumbling blocks and resistance within ourselves. What I did is I put together all the things that I felt were most helpful and freeing and true, that felt true for me. Um, and I organized them according to the colors of the spectrum, because I had studied art when I was in college, and so I was drawn to colors, and I realized there was a big connection between that and actually in art history, the history of spirituality is outpictured in much of the artwork in Europe, especially where I studied in France. And but as I was just sitting with myself, I used the colors to help remember certain things I wanted to intend and ask for. So, for example, with the color red, I use that to strengthen my physical body and my heart and my circulation, and to be ready for action. Also to be grounded and connected with the earth, because in going into those higher realms, it's very important, I felt, to be grounded and healthy in our physical body. And by the way, I would say my main intention in doing this was to embody and feel more deeply the concepts in A Course in Miracles, because I still felt that that was one of the best and highest teachings I had come across, and that there would be a way that I could feel it more deeply by engaging the body, for example, in breathing. And also in my studies, I had found, and through using Culin photography, I did a little research project where I was able to use Culin photography, that I had made a little device from a Polaroid camera. Somebody showed me how to do that. That would show how my energy changed, or if I was testing somebody else with certain certain thoughts, words, visions. And I found that if I combined that with breathing, that it would really have a much bigger effect on the light body that was visible with the Culin photography.
So you told me that you developed technique to help people calm their mind before go meditation. Are you talking about this little video that you have in your website? Can maybe you can show, or how
Right.
people
Well,
have access to that? Because that's something that so many people will struggle with. Is, oh my goodness, I can't meditate because I can't stop thinking.
right. And so I did all the work for you. Where there are actually two gifts on my website,
Oh, let's
because
go there.
about a year or more ago, I started remembering all these uh, miracles and breakthroughs that people
Are you able to
had with this attunement process that I developed for myself initially. And then I had the opportunity. When I volunteered initially at the ARE Medical Clinic in Phoenix, that was a holistic clinic based on the principles of Edgar Cayce, which to some he's known as the father of holistic medicine, although he died, I think, in 1947. He brought through so much understanding about health and all the different uh, levels that should be taken into consideration to for health, and especially the spiritual aspects being very important.
so how
So
people
what we're seeing now, yes, this is you can go to it on my website, which
is in
is
the description of this live, but it's attunement dot live.
right. Uh, and right in the middle of the page, you'll find this golden attunement, which will help to balance and raise your vibrations. And also, in just 5 minutes, you have this personal balancing and attunement, and also for peace and prosperity for humanity and the earth. And when you turn on the sound, you'll have I collaborated with a musician.
To decrease the volume a little bit.
Craig Pruis helped to elaborate and fully orchestrate my ideas and my initial little electric piano recording. I played for him along with how I wanted to fully support the ideas, the intentions, the feelings, because music is another such a valuable key, because we know with that scale of different feelings and states of consciousness, how music can help us shift from one state to another so quickly and easily. That is another key that
for a good time.
I brought into my process. So when you go to that golden attunement, you can just unmute it. There should be a place to unmute. I think it's near the top, actually.
Oh, sorry. I know why you can't hear.
Right.
Muted. Let me just stop again.
But we may not want to do that now, but when people go to it, they can hear it better.
Yeah, can you hear now? We're sharing without sound, but now I put this on. Can you hear the body?
Especially with earbuds, to get the full support of the music as well as the words
through us from the spiritual plane.
So let me understand.
You can play a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Let me understand. So if you wanted to meditate, you go to attunement.live,
gratitude for being sustained here.
And then you put your headphones,
and the earth
listen,
joyfully
watch,
receives
and
this golden
for 5
light.
minutes. And then you go into meditation,
of all our experiences and thoughts and feelings,
easier experience
which we offer now and share. We picture this golden light and the colors flowing now to the center of the earth. And we see there is an amber glow already shining there, growing brighter from all those who have offered the earth thoughts and prayers of peace and light. And this light in the center of the earth is now growing and shining to the surface.
And then let us know.
We feel it rising up our legs and body to our heart center. And we imagine this light offered now to the heart.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Let's change a little bit to the companion books of A Course in Miracles. Before we do that, let's show here this is my Portuguese version. I have a Spanish version and of course my English version. And do you know this book, A Year of Forgiveness?
Well, I know that you introduced it before, so that sounds wonderful.
Yes, that contains the Jesus commentary for each lesson. Tina Louise Spalding, she channels Jesus, and in 2019, she decided to do the lessons online. After she would read each lesson, Jesus would come forth and comment. And then after 1 year, she composed this book. And I like to say that each commentary is make the link between the lesson and your daily life, the problems that you face in your daily life, with a very practical, easy ways on how can you apply the knowledge in the practice to really solve your problems. So it's a very, very powerful book, information that's here. And I translated to Portuguese. I started in 2022. And just last Friday, it was published. And now the Portuguese version is available all over the world.
Very nice.
Brazil and Africa. the countries that speaks Portuguese. You can go to Amazon and you're gonna find. If you wanna just read a sample, you can go to mindsherpabooks.com and you'll be able to read a sample. And also at Amazon you can get a sample also. Do you know any more books that are companion for the Course in Miracles?
Well, I was mainly focused on using the Course in Miracles. You know, there's plenty there. And actually the workbook even more so than the text, because I wanted to make it work for myself.
Easy.
And actually the teacher's manual was very interesting too. It comes as part of that set.
I haven't gotten to the teachings yet because I don't know. I still feel that I'm more like a student still. Right now,
I'm always a student.
Yeah, I think we always will be a student,
Yeah.
and I feel my role is right now is to be a student and also to share. Yes, but I didn't get
Very nice.
to the teaching part yet. Another book that's really impacted a lot and helped me understand more about A Course in Miracle was the book of Gary Renard, The Disappearance of the Universe. Have you read that book?
No, I don't think so.
The Disappearance of the Universe.
Wow.
Basically, it tells you that you are not here.
Right.
Actually, you never left God. You never left God's side. And you are here. This is just a dream. It's a projection of your own mind. And the way to wake up of that dream and doesn't have to dream it again is really through forgiveness. So the Disappearance of the Universe is a very powerful book it's kind of put me in another level of the understanding of A Course in Miracles. And it's interesting how our guides really show us things when we are ready. I think if I have read it before, I wouldn't really be ready to understand the concept of that.
Well, I was just listening to Deepak Chopra, and yeah, he said, you know, scientifically, really everything is just like that movie, and that is the only thing that exists is awareness, and it's our awareness that projects everything that we see, which is basically what it says in the Course in Miracles too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, and you're teaching all the time when you're speaking and sharing.
And actually, it started like that. For example, I like to say that you experience Jesus starting from the fifth dimension, or the 13th dimension. So from the 13th dimension and up is the eternal realms. That's what really is. That's the true reality. Everything from the 12th dimension down are projection. And then the different thing about the dimensions that are up until the fourth dimension is they know they are dreaming and they still remember that they are one with God. But when you come here to the third dimension, you forget. So this book helps you to wake up. That's why you like to call it the awakening.
Right.
Spiritual awakening.
The awakening path.
Let me ask you a question. How A Course in Miracle changed your life? Can you imagine your life without A Course in Miracles?
Well, I really was struggling quite a bit when I came into contact with it, and it was a mainstay for me for many years. So I don't know what would have happened. Maybe I would have discovered other paths. Well, right on the cover there, and I don't know if it's still on there, it says, this is a required course. Only you get to choose the time that you take it, but that doesn't mean you're going to take it in that form of the books of A Course in Miracles, that we'll all come to this understanding eventually, one way or another. But that was certainly a way. I thought it was very helpful to go through the workbook because it was very clear and logical, and everything that you read and that you said in each lesson built on what came before, so that I really couldn't argue with anything. It helped me to shift and absorb in a very systematic way, to have this attitude of forgiveness, or rather, I would say, unconditional love, as which as humans, probably as babies, we have it, and then we unlearn it, and then we have to learn and unlearn, and come to a better understanding. We become wiser as we get older too, I think, or we have that possibility, especially if we live a long life.
How would you introduce the Course in Miracle to someone? How will you usually do? Do you usually go and try to talk to someone into A Course in Miracles, like I do a lot?
I don't remember trying to convert anybody, but I did offer, I taught the class. It was listed in the program and the schedule at the Institute in Boulder. Well, it's an interesting thought. It's been so long. I know that I was mainly using it for myself, right? And I did give a set to my boyfriend at the time, and he actually had a big spiritual awakening when he got into it too. Oh, and there's something I would like to share. I'm not sure I did it in our last interview, which was early on in the Course in Miracles. I was lying in bed at night and wondering if this is true, that we really are these spiritual beings that are totally divine. We should be able to know who we are. This is ridiculous. How can we be in the dark about this? So I got up and I looked in the bathroom mirror, and I started asking, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And I decided I was going to keep asking until I got an answer. And well, actually, in those days, I was very nearsighted. And so I had a nice sort of blurry image of myself. But it started sparkling and turning golden. And it actually looked like I had long hair, like you do, at the time. And as I'm looking into the mirror, it all started sparkling, and I could just see sort of gold and shadows of my eyes. And it looked like the face of Christ that you might see in an old painting, and or even some people say they've caught a photograph that it looked, but it's kind of blurry. And so then I remembered from the Course in Miracles, it said when you begin to awaken to this reality, you'll begin to see the Christ in others.
Yes.
And so it was like I was looking at the other, but even it was myself.
But it was you.
And it said, I remembered that it won't be long before then you'll remember being one with God or something like that. And what happened is I went from that image that looked like a golden Christ to being what I describe as the unified field. But it felt totally blissful, totally peaceful. Everything disappeared except this field of sparkling white. And I describe it as being like sunshine on new fallen snow.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I use that when I'm going through this process with groups to describe it. And that the realization I had, well, somehow I knew that every single particle that was sparkling was had a full spectrum in it of color. It was like a chevron, like in feathers on an arrow, where you had like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. But somehow I just knew that it was infinitesimally small. Mm-hmm. But the feeling that I had no center of myself in that experience. It went out in all directions, this total bliss, total peace, total beauty, even of this sparkling white field. It was bright, but it didn't hurt in any way. It was very comfortable. But what came to me after just a minute is, now what? If we are one with God, and that is all potential, if it's all the same, all this unified field, if there's no difference, if there's no contrast, there's no possibility for interaction, for relationship, for evolution. And so that's my understanding as to why this dream was dreamt in the mind of God, to have companionship, to have even challenges, to make that unconditional love more meaningful if it's harder to come by, Yeah. So I felt that was a very valuable experience. What happened is I had the thought, well, what about me? And then when I had that thought, I came back into my body, and it felt so awful to be back in a body so heavy. But I had that understanding of, why would God, put us through this, or allow us to dream ourselves into all these predicaments.
I think that's what we call nirvana, right? The state of spiritual bliss.
Well, I didn't understand, what was that?
That's what we call nirvana, the state of spiritual bliss.
The spiritual
bliss. It's like when
bliss, yeah. Right. So we can dip into it, but there's no point in staying there, because then you're ready for a challenge or a little bit more excitement and interaction in life.
So what I usually say to people when I want to introduce A Course in Miracles is, look, this book, let me show the book. I like to show the book. This book will take your mind away from fear and reconnect with love through forgiveness. Don't believe it? Try.
Yeah, right. Right.
So that's usually
And
what I say.
then you have that option, or else you can continue to feel like a victim.
Yes.
Right?
I
Yeah.
usually
And
give
it
as a
helps people get beyond that. It helped me become more mindful also of what am I giving out instead of worrying about what do people think about me. So I could focus more on raising things up instead of just reacting to what I see, even if I did participate in creating it or asking for it in some way.
we
We
always
also have that choice. Yeah, that
participate.
choice. Mm-hmm.
And I have two examples that is very strong to deny that the course is true, in the sense that you are always experience what's in your mind. I went to visit a cousin, and his wife, she used to lose her tempered. So people is always kind of walking eggs over eggs with her. And I came to visit them. The door was open, and when I put my feet at the door, I realized she was having a big fight with her husband. Her face was all red, and of course I wanted to just turn around and go away, but she already had saw me, so I couldn't do it. So I was there motionless in front of her, and I saw the most amazing thing. Her face completely changed color. She became serene. She smiled and asked me to get in. She completely changed after she saw me. Her husband, he just flipped away. But what happened is all the interactions that I had with her, I always respected her. I never judged her, and I always treat her with love. And she was able to come back to that state that we usually used to exchange when we met, even though she was in the middle of a crisis with her husband. So that was a clear picture for me that you are always experience what's in your mind.
I
Because
had an
person in the vibration of the part of what she was delivering to her husband, she changed it, and it's like almost like a miracle. I was very impressed with that.
I have had those miracles. Once I was returning, I was in a fourth floor walk up, returning with groceries with my daughter, and I heard there was a fight, people yelling in one of the apartments, and all of the other neighbors were looking out their doors. He said, "Don't go in there, he has guns." But I was in this Course in Miracles space where I was totally fearless. I just walked up to the door. I knocked on the door.
Fiercely.
I heard these, crashing, screaming in the apartment. I knocked on the door. This guy came. He was really tall and strong. I just put my hand on his shoulder and I said, "Can I do anything to help?" And he said, "Here, yes, take the children, take my wife. I don't want to hurt anyone. I ran out of my medication. Call the police if you need to." And there's much more to this story, but yeah, I've had those experiences, and the Course in Miracles definitely gave me that strength. And I didn't even have a second thought about doing that. I want to say something important, because if people go to my website, they can view that 5-minute golden attunement with a vision of peace and prosperity for everyone in 5 minutes. But if they subscribe, they can also request the full spectrum attunement. And that's the one that really helps you get to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So if you're having trouble with anything along the way, like with your physical strength and your health and relationships, with the clarity, organization, with unconditionally loving and generosity and healing, with and love and communication. It goes through the entire body, all the colors, and all of these different human issues that we struggle with ways to help gently and enjoyably make different choices, choose that love all along the way in ways that are so easy. And then also having a vision of what you would want to share with the world, what your gifts are, and to learn to work with that with love and wisdom. And also at the crown, or the top of the head, we have the violet light that helps to transmute and transform and release all that doesn't serve us anymore. And then after you do all that, that's when you really feel deserving of this golden light that comes pouring down. But you get a taste of that with the 5-minute golden attunement. And then if you subscribe, and then you should have a place to check that you will click on here, and that full spectrum attunement will come right up for you. If not, email me if there's I'll see if I can get it to you another way. But the system should work when you do that.
Lenore, that was a pleasure. It's almost to the end already. I could speak about A Course in Miracles for a long, long time. I think you too. I can see you are very passionate about. What would you have to say to whoever is watching now?
Well, there is one word to make it very easy. That is namaste, which is the light, or I like this interpretation of it anyway. There might be other translations, but the light and the love in me honors the light and love in you. And when you can really feel that and offer it to others and to yourself, we're just reminding ourselves that we are already worthy. We are already expressions of God. So it will help you go beyond the struggles you might be going through, to just remind yourself with the one word. To me, it's a one-word summary of A Course in Miracles. And I also want to mention, Eleonora, that I have developed remote healing. And I really feel that working with A Course in Miracles helped me to gain that clarity and that unconditional love, to be able to connect at the highest level, which means it's a quantum level beyond time and space. So I can connect with anyone, anywhere in the world. And there have been so many miracles with that. What I have found recently, that there are just these inherited imprints or from trauma. We may have no idea where our struggles come from, especially the unconscious ones. So it makes it hard for us to work on it on our own, even with the Course in Miracles.
Yes.
So that's what I've found, that I have ways, because it's really like prayer and asking for what will be the very most helpful thing for this person, to help resolve and support them in their most important priorities. So you'll see a little bit about that on the website, and I hope you will reach out to me if you feel you're swimming against the tide and you just need some extra support, because I love doing that work too.
Thank you so much, Lenore. It was a pleasure to have you again on the podcast. And I'm going to be listening to the video more often before meditation, and I will share with you all my experience. Thank you, everyone that is watching, and see you next time. Just okay, I just left YouTube.